Hey, good evening. And I was telling about axilla again, so I not get these two videos of the back and the axilla. So now we'll move on to cutaneous nerves, superficial veins, and lymphatic drainage of the upper limb. So then, the dissection is given. So we have different. Diagrams and all of that. So next we have shoulder or the scapular region. So now it is um, how this goes, and so actually this chapter mostly I don't read. So there's a diagram given, so the anterior surface and the posterior surface. So there's a supraclavicular, so the upper lateral cutaneous nerve of the arm, intercostal brachial, posterior cutaneous nerve of the arm, medial cutaneous nerve of arm, lower lateral cutaneous nerve of arm, medial cutaneous nerve of forearm, posterior cutaneous nerve of forearm, and lateral cutaneous nerve of forearm. So we have the ulnar nerve, the radial nerve, and the medial nerve. So the nerve supplies diagram is given, and so actually these hands are drawn similar to the frog's anatomy. So next is the dermatomes of the upper limb. So we are having the embryological basis and the important features. So actually there's a nice diagram, something like a child. So it is a upper limb bud and the lower limb bud. So A, B and C is given. So it is like CBA. So the body wall is supplied by posterior primary rami, the lateral branches of the anterior primary rami, and the anterior branches of the anterior primary rami of the spinal nerves. The limb buds develop from the area supplied by lateral branches of the anterior primary rami. Um, so the embryological basis is shows um, regular segmentation of the body. Uh, so each segment is supplied by corresponding segmental nerve, and in the adult all the structures including the skin developed from one segment are supplied by the original segmental nerve. Limb may be regarded as extension of the body wall, and the segment from which they are derived can be deduced from the spinal nerve supply. The limb bud arise in the area of body wall supplied by the lateral branches of the anterior primary rami. So the limb buds arise in the area of body wall supplied by lateral branches of anterior primary rami. The nerves to the limbs represent these branches, and so the important features are given. Uh, So upper limb bud grows out opposite segments C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1 of the spinal cord. So there is an overlapping of adjoining dermatomes. So there is a cephalic and a caudal border. Known as the preaxial and the postaxial borders. in the and so like the upper limb grows out from the part of the body wall supplied by lateral cutaneous branches of the anterior primary rami of the spinal nerves. So there is anterior primary ramus and the posterior primary ramus, upper limb bud, and the lateral branch of the anterior primary ramus. So then we have a diagram showing overlapping of the dermatomes. So they are dotted and shaded out with the lines. So then it's like dermatomes, anterior aspect and posterior aspect. So we have the pre-axial border, ventral axial line. We have post-axial border, dorsal axial line, and so like so the clinical anatomy is given. So then this dermatomes. Usually these are something like very much important, but I did not learn about it. So the area of sensory loss of skin following injury of spinal cord or the nerve roots conform to the dermatomes. Therefore, the segmental level of the damage to the spinal cord can be determined by examining the dermatomes for so the segmental level, touch, pain, and temperature. So the injury to the peripheral nerve produce sensory loss corresponding to area of distribution of that nerve. Spinal segment does not lie opposite the corresponding vertebrae. In estimating the position of the spinal segment in relation to the surface of the body, it's important to remember that the vertebral spine is always lower than the corresponding spinal segment. As a rough guide, it may be shared that in cervical region there is a difference of one segment. That is, the fifth cervical spine overlies the sixth cervical spine segment. So, like something is given about the dermatomes, and so this is quite interesting. Then we have the superficial veins. So we have the intravenous injections and so the general remarks we are having cephalic, preaxial, basilic. Then we have the accessory cephalic vein and superficial vein runs away from pressure points and they accent at the palm, fist area, in the ulnar border of the forearm, and the back of the arm, trapezius region, the resting surface. Veins spiral and dorsal to the ventral surface of the limbs and all of things. Then we have preaxial vein is longer than the postaxial, and so then we having a short circuiting channel and medial cubital with a deep vein, and we are having cutaneous nerves and superficial lymphatics, and we are having um, individual veins. So then we have the dorsal venous arch. So three dorsal metacarpal veins, dorsal digital vein, and medial side of little finger, radial side of index finger, thumb, interosseous spaces, and we have the cephalic vein. So the preaxial vein. So I'm getting a little of heartache today, just because all of the companies have been closed, and so my grandfather just left out for a vacation, and then lateral end of the dorsal venous arch and all of that. So the anatomical snuff box it runs through, and all of that, and the regions are given. Uh, so, like the cephalic means head. So, a lower border of the pectoralis major, and the teres major and the axillary vein is given. So we're having the basilic vein with the medial cutaneous nerve of forearm. We have medial cubital vein and cephalic vein with lateral cutaneous nerve of forearm. We're having medial vein of forearm, and we have accessory cephalic vein. So cephalic vein with radial nerve is given on the right hand. So we have the dorsal digital index and anatomical snuff box and the DD of the thumb, and dorsal venal arch, and three dorsal metacarpi, and dorsal digital minimi, and we have the basilic vein of medial cutaneous nerve of forearm. So then, like it's accompanied by lateral cutaneous nerve of forearm and terminal part of radial nerve and an axillary cephalic vein. So the basilic vein is the postaxial vein, and all of the connections and all of that is given. Then we have the medial cubital vein. Uh, uh, so um, and the 5 mark medial cubital vein is a 5 mark, and so it's but only a little of the paragraph is given. So then we have some variations in the cubital vein, the basilic vein, cephalic vein, axillary cephalic vein in the diagram. So, and the medial vein of forearm, medial cephalic vein, and the median basilic vein. Uh, all of the variations are given. So then the clinical anatomy. So, like um, the medial cubital vein, it shuns blood from the cephalic to the basilic vein. So the cephalic vein, 2.5 centimeter below the bend of the elbow, runs obliquely upwards and medially, ends in the basilic vein, 2.5 centimeter above the medial epicondyle. It's separate from the brachial artery by the bicipital aponeurosis. And it receives tributaries from the front of the forearm, median vein of the forearm, and is connected to the deep vein through the perforator vein, which pierces the bicipital aponeurosis. Perforator vein fixes the medial cubital vein, thus makes it ideal for intravenous injections. And the clinical anatomy for withdrawing blood from donors, the medial cubital vein. For cardiac catheterization, it's fixed to a perforator, does not slip away during piercing. So then, the cephalic vein communicates with the external jugular vein. So, an operation which crosses an operation for removal of breast in carcinoma, the axillary lymph nodes are also removed. Um, so So it helps in the removal of the breast in operations for draining blood from the upper limb. And so in case of fracture of clavicle, there may be hematoma. So then we having lymph nodes and lymphatic drainage. So tissue fluids and all of the lymph nodes, intraclavicular, deltopectoral, superficial cubital, supratrochlear, and along the medial side of the brachial artery, at the bifurcation of brachial artery, along the arteries of the forearm. So the lymphatics, the superficial and the deep is given. Lymph shed, the middle of the back of forearm and arm. So there's a vertical area. And so the deep lymphatics, inflammation is known as lymphangitis, and inflammation of lymph nodes is called lymphadenitis. So lymph vessels is known as lymphangitis. So I'm really feeling restless because I was just reading about axilla, and it was undone. And there is a lot of joy learning anatomy. So just I have marked in that I finished till 2019, and this is a new chapter for 2020. And so hope you are much confused about what I am reading. And so today is a very much confusion day because of the pharmacology. And then we are having obstruction to lymph vessels resulting in accumulation of tissue fluids. So this is known as the lymph edema, and it's caused by carcinoma, infection with parasites, filaria, and surgical removal of lymph nodes. So it's already been 10 years with anatomy, and today's date is 24 320. Okay, then we are coming to the shoulder or the scapular region. So there's a nice diagram showing superficial lymphatics of the upper limb. So there is axillary lymph nodes and the tributaries from cutaneous plexus, and the lymph shed in the back, vessels passing to the front, dense palmar plexus. So this is resembling some of the formation of this wild fowl from the um, what to say this. Have you seen this thorny structures which run through the sea in the oceans? So something um, if you break open, there'll be some lobes, eatable lobes like tongue inside. And something resembling from that formation. And so if you say a skinny substance such as octopus or a squid comes and joins along with the bone or a skull of that, they form a different organism. And so this is something like resembling a Spider-Man, a spider web. And so I have forgotten the name of the species. And a lymph node in relation to the walls of the axilla is given: supraclavicular, apical, anterior axillary, central axillary, lateral axillary, posterior axillary. So lymph nodes in relation to axillary vein, we are having apical group, anterior group, lateral group, central group, posterior group, and the pectoralis minor. So this study with the dermatomes was unsuccessful because it's actually embryology. And but to know something about was okay. We'll come to the shoulder and the scapular region. So um, okay, let me drink some water and come back for the shoulder scapular region and finish off the arm also today. And so this desmosomes showed some scary stuff on us. So then we'll have forearm and the hand. So I need to come to thorax actually. So we are having forearm and hand, a big chapter. So only the first few chapters, as I told earlier, would be somewhat going slowly difficult, like the countries from A to K. And next will be very, very easy. from thorax, I think it will be very easy. So today I think I could finish up to thorax if I go very lenient in correction. So thank you.